Truman was already digging the hole even before Christoph and the audience knew. The audience and Christoph is the system, which is the ego, yeah? The world of form, physicality, yeah? Because Truman was digging before he had language for what he was actually digging into. He knew he wanted to escape. We, as the audience or Christoph, are not privy to that information. We only see him after the Sirius, the light fitting falls out of the sky, and we see that he starts to connect dots. But he was already connecting dots before that point. Bear with me. We're going to get into it. This was because it was a gut level unrest, yeah? A spiritual itch, something beyond the form. Although he was living the form and playing the form character and the hello, hi, good afternoon, how's the weather, stupid stuff. Oh, did you watch your football then? Oh my God, these fucking immigrants, that programmed reality stuff. There was a part of him that was digging a hole out of his reality even before he knew he was in a dome, yeah? Truth drop, a dome that he was having an experience in his own microcosm, if you like. You know, maybe subconsciously there was something off about the smiles, the cycles, yeah, the predictability of his world. But subconsciously, this was already registered before his form became aware of it, yeah? It's on two layers. Now, he didn't know, but he felt. Neo was the same. When we watch The Matrix, the very first scene, we see Neo actually searching for Morpheus. He is digging a hole out of his reality, seeking more. Even before Morpheus makes contact with him, this is the same. There are parallels in this stuff. These are documentaries about your own self, breadcrumbs dropped by consciousness for your own self. You see what I'm saying, but bear with, let's get into it. So he's digging, yeah? He's searching on the computer, busy, he's searching, he's looking for Morpheus, even before Morpheus got in touch with him. The same way Truman was digging the hole, once he started to dig the hole, and he had a secret plan, what happened? The reality started to break down. Surprise, surprise, a light fitting falls out of the sky, yeah? Boom. The radio glitches, so on and so forth. Neo was doing the same. He was typing things into the void of the internet. Asking questions he couldn't form, but something in him knew to search. Yeah? This is the divine glitch, because based on what we know about Morpheus, there was, what could he have possibly found? He didn't know, but he felt that affinity, that attraction to truth. Let's get deeper. This is simply the soul trying to remember before it has physical proof, yeah? And the second they acted on that unrest, the simulation blinked. Truman made Sirius B fall out of the sky, yeah? The fake star cracks open the dome, basically, yeah? Neo gets a wake up Neo on the screen, and the code starts to bleed. This is also happening to you and has been happening to your whole life. I'm going to show you. So the very act of digging, yeah, the curiosity, the questioning, the pulling of the threads, the searching on the YouTube, yeah, the searching through the library, the books, yeah, questioning ChatGPT, yeah, questioning Google. That's you digging too, bro. And that is what tears the fabric of the lie. Because there's something about you that transcends form, that realizes that it is not real. Okay, you see. Let me give you a couple of analogies. When you're lucid dreaming, yeah, and suddenly the dream kind of like shimmers, yeah, and gets weird because you're becoming aware inside of it, it's the same thing. Reality checks in, and when reality checks in, it's not to teach you, but it's to check to see if you're watching it. On his phone or was doing something else, he would have missed that. Had Truman just like rubbish that, or was Truman too occupied with some other crap, he would have bypassed that light fitting falling out of the sky, right? So it's the same, because every time, you know, you go and do your tarot, or you're looking into horoscopes, or every UFO sighting, yeah, every repeating number, yeah, or every random stranger saying something that was meant just for you, or the radio playing something that was just for you. These aren't signs pointing to the truth, but is the truth testing to see if you are actually lucid. It's testing your signal, yeah? So when you think about things like synchronicities, psychedelia, conspiracies, all these things is one system, and I'm going to show you, yeah? Because all the rabbit holes, yeah, from the Pleidians and the DMT elves to the Rothschilds and the Bilderberg group and the CERN black hole and the zodiac portals and the ancient bloodlines. Bro, I told you this from the jump, yeah? I'm an avid reader. When it comes to the rabbit holes, if there's a rabbit hole that exists, I went in there. If it exists, I went in there. I don't speak on anything I don't know about. Yeah? Okay. So basically, after all those kind of rabbit holes, you realize that it's the same system, but just wearing different outfits. Yeah? They're not always true in the literal sense, yeah? Because, you know, they all echo the same kind of like whisper, yeah? Look again. Are you awake yet? That's what the reality is doing to you as the dreamer. Because the dream itself is not your enemy, yeah? The Bilderberg group and the bloodlines and the pleidians and the UFOs, the governments and the secret, all those, bro, it's a story to see if you're actually awake, for you to actually see beyond what's being presented to you, because you are dreaming right now. Yo, let me carry on. So when you think about things like psychedelics, yeah? Ayahuasca doesn't just show you colors, yeah? It rearranges your whole internal architecture, or LSD. It rearranges your whole internal architecture, yeah? DMT breaks time. LSD breaks time, yeah? LSD will bend form. Mushrooms dissolve your entire mask, yeah? Not for you to trip, per se, because what does trip even mean? But it's to let you feel for a split second what it means to wake up outside of the simulation. Yeah? So when you come back into the simulation, you come back a changed person, because now you see that it's an illusion. Yeah? It's not because the drug gave you answers. No drug could give you answers. It's a breadcrumb you place right in front of your own self for you to take and then realize, oh shit, I'm dreaming. Yeah? But many people do that and they come back and they still follow deadlines. But yeah. These things are there to force you to remember you're dreaming, yeah? Now, let's talk about false flags, yeah? The fake, you know, staged events and stuff. We all know them, yeah? There's one happening right now, yeah? Crop circles, government disclosures, 33,000 Epstein files, 33,000 Hillary files. Oh my God! All that stuff, yeah? What is it? It's simply awareness testing awareness, bro. Because think about this. What if every event, every strange public drama, yeah, some energy harvesting thing that the ego does to distract you, every accidental disclosure, like WikiLeaks or what's the other one? Bradley Manning. What's the WikiLeaks and the other one? Yeah, those disclosures. Yeah, every 9/11, every COVID, every alien press conference. It's not about control. It's literally about calibration. COVID was a great example, actually, because reality is simply checking your vitals. Are you awake yet? Because when the simulation does something crazy, a war, a coincidental death, a new AI fucking program, the question behind it is not who did this. The real question is, Did you see it? Or are you still dreaming? Like, do you need me to make this even more obvious than it is? Like, when you look at the NASA stuff, yeah, and you got these astronauts, yeah, with harnesses, and you know they're bamboozling you, talking rubbish, like the stuff doesn't even make sense. Man's all brushing his teeth and stuff in the fucking thing. There's wires all exposed and shit. Like, they're there like doing stupid shit. Like, he's got harnesses on him. There's the thing is like some green screen thing. Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's not like, oh my God, NASA's so dumb, they let that slip. No, it's the reality checking in on you to see if you are awake. Bro, today we're going to talk awareness to awareness, bro. Not even form to form. Real shit. So it's checking to see if you're sleeping or not. You know? So when you look at things like crop circles, yeah? And no human being, so shut the fuck up, yeah? It's not people. Stop it. They're not alien messages. Aliens from where? Don't listen to these stupid people that come and tell you that, oh, he's an alien that's possessed him, and man standing there, oh, brother, like, oh my God. People need to wake up, you know. Like, are you actually that asleep that you think a human being standing there telling you that an alien is possessing him and he's talking to you? Are you, bro? Anyway, crop circles are not alien messages, yeah? Yeah? It's almost like it's designed to scan for conscious response. These things are placed in the dreamscape, yeah? You are in a dreamscape, you're in a reality bubble. I've explained this ad nauseum. Go and check it out. And the thing is checking to see if you are asleep, because the amnesia that we had to go through to get here is, you can't even imagine. It's like, imagine God, this all-powerful thing telling itself, I wish myself to forget everything. It's going to be done as God said, because God's word becomes flesh. Do you get it? So when God says, I want to forget, it forgets everything. Because why? Because when you are everything, you can't experience anything. Let me say that one more time for those in the rafters. When you are everything, you can't experience anything. Even in the 3D sense, because everything happens on multiple levels. If I gave you $1 billion, yeah, $100 billion, that's why I tell you, don't follow this stupid stuff like, oh, Elon Musk has $1 trillion. It's make-believe mumbo-jumbo bull crap on the screen, bro. What can you do with $1 trillion, bro? Where is it? How much money do you think is actually in circulation? Let's use our brains, bro. Wake the fuck up. Do you understand? Let's think. Let's wake up. Now, check this out. So the thing is literally checking to see if you're awake or not, because when you're everything, you can't experience anything. So in order for you to experience something, you must make a sacrifice. It's almost like you have to say, I have to take a form. After all, bro, what is an experience? Because, okay, I'm just talking nonsense. Explain to me what an experience is. How does an experience unfold? So, of course, it must be done through separation. Me, you, this, that, him, her. You get it? So, when you see these symbols, all seeing eye, rah, 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 33, order up chaos, blah, 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 blah. It's not surveillance, bro. It's awareness looking at itself through symbol. There's a reason those images trigger you, bro. So think about it, bro. When you keep digging for the truth, you reach a part of the maze where there are no more walls. It's just mirrors, yeah? And that's when awareness will speak through you and not just to you, yeah? So all these things that you see, they are not accidental, bro. They're not accidental, bro. Because, give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. So in the same way that Truman was digging and Neo was searching for Morpheus, even before they became consciously aware of it, you have been doing the same thing, whether it was conspiracy theories, whether it was looking at spiritual practices, whether it was trying to find God through religion or trying to understand the real nature of God, whether it was looking at the earth and what the earth may be, what shape it may take, like what it actually is, trying to understand reality, yeah, trying to actually go past the stories, looking past the illusions, yeah, the bread and circuses of Rome. You're looking past it, you're asking questions, whether you're looking at horoscopes, whether you're looking at tarot, whether you're looking at government conspiracies, what do you call it, disclosures, all this stuff, whether you're looking at glitches in the matrix, Abraham Lincoln, JFK, how comes these, it's literally like a mirror of itself, yeah, all these strange things, you're looking, that's you digging for the truth on a subconscious level before the form, the ego that you carry becomes aware that you're actually seeking truth. And this also happens in the natural world. When I say the natural world, in the reflections, the dreamscape that we have, because a moth is not drawn to a flame or a light. You know, it doesn't think about it. It doesn't think, oh, I must move towards the light. No, it just moves towards the light. It's subconscious, right? So you don't need to think, I need to find the truth. You just move towards the truth. After all, what was it that pushed you to start looking into conspiracy? What was it that pushed you to start looking into government things and disclosures and this and that and tarot and mystical stuff and synchro mysticism and this and that? What was it? You were just moving towards the truth. Yeah? You were moving towards lucidity because there's a part of you that knows, even before the form knows or becomes aware, that this is all illusion. So it's heading towards truth. The same way the turtle, when it's born, doesn't think, I need to find where the ocean is. It just moves towards the ocean. Yeah? A child doesn't have to think, oh my God, where's my mum? Where's her boob? No. Instinct. He's just moving towards it. Yeah? So when you began your dig, you weren't strategizing. You weren't like enlightened, or you weren't like, well, the ego convinced you that you're like somehow more awake than others and all that other shit, but that's another story for another day. But you weren't even sure what was wrong, but you just knew that something was wrong. You just moved. Something deeper in you knew, because you can't tell me the reason why you started to look into conspiracies and stuff. You can't. You can't tell me the exact day where you just thought, you just saw a crack in the screen. Something didn't quite add up. Whether it was 9/11, whether it was some staged event, yeah, some fake Hollywood crap, something. You saw a crack, and that crack made you realize that, oh, this is illusion. So naturally, the thing started to move towards truth, unity, oneness. Yeah? So yeah, that knowing, that unspoken directive is awareness guiding itself back to itself, because awareness is truth. Yeah? So it wasn't like you were looking for the truth per se. Yeah? Awareness in your as form, as you, was responding to a cosmic central left by a crack in the illusion. Yeah? Because there was a reason why Truman started to dig even before we started to we joined him on his odyssey. There's a reason why Neo was searching for Morpheus, even though he was labeled as a terrorist and this and that, before we joined the movie. That's the space that I'm talking about. Yeah? But really and truly, what's actually happening, or what was happening, you know, that cosmic central wasn't laid by the mind, but it was laid by the meta you, yeah? Awareness itself. The aspect of you already outside the reality. The part of you that's God itself, the oneness of all things, within which this thought bubble called your microcosm, or on the macro scale, Earth, exists. You thought you were looking for truth, yeah, so you can show people and wake them up. But if you actually peel back the layers, you were talking to yourself, trying to get yourself to wake up. Yeah, truth was calling itself home through your feet, bro. Do you understand? And this goes beyond the ego program, because the ego, we know what the ego seeks: safety, status, identity, pleasure, control, these stupid stuff, yeah? But awareness doesn't seek anything because it's already everything. It just kind of reorients itself. And that's what the digging was. It wasn't rebellion. It wasn't even like awakening. It wasn't some heroic act. It was just a gravitational alignment. Gravity, we know, is anyway, but it was almost like water finding its level, yeah, or like birds migrating thousands of miles without a map, yeah. You were not decoding reality. Reality was decoding you, bro. Back to alignment, yeah, because before the numbers, before the tarot, before the dreams, the synchronicities, the flashes, the patterns, before the teacher or the acid trip or the YouTube rabbit hole and all of that stuff, there was a silent movement, bro. You know, the first inner tilt, like a compass needle that was just turning. You didn't ask why, because something already knew where to face, bro. You already know where the North Star is. So even I've been in those rabbit holes, yeah. Sometimes when you're watching a video and you know it's like, if it's disingenuous or the person's just talking out of his asshole or whatever it is, you feel it. You know it. There's an inner knowing that this is just egoic crap. And there's a channel, there are channels that, or books or whatever, you connect with them and you're like, nah, that's actually where it's at, bro. Nobody has to tell you, you feel it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. I remember when the whole flat earth thing blew up. Shout out to Eric Dubay, Potter's Clay, Flat Earth Banjo, all those people. Those guys did some amazing work in the early days, bro. And then that whole movement got co-opted by like a bunch of like weirdos, right? They did like a conference and all this stuff, and it was clearly fake. It was clearly a kind of misdirection thing, yeah? Some say it was a government thing. This is 3D level stuff, but we all know it's just a system responding to awareness. But when that was happening, I remember, because I told you awareness and awakening happens in waves, yeah? Okay. And I remember there was this whole thing, and like the media was forced to confront this rising movement, but they already had the people they could put the mics in front to make the whole movement look stupid, to put the masses back to sleep. Do you understand? But then those that were there at the time, we still knew where the North Star was, because we knew that, nah, that's fake. Do you understand me? Okay. So, really and truly, even this conversation, you're not here because you figured something out, bro. You're here because awareness moved your form before your ego caught on, bro. Yeah? Like a moth flying into some sort of like symbol that it doesn't understand, but feels compelled to reach. Yeah? Just like how the light fitting fell in Truman Show, not because of weather or accident, but because Truman's awareness ripple made the set crumble. Yeah, just like Neo, wake up Neo popping up on the screen randomly, someone hacking his machine, a whole hacker, bro. Neo's search for truth made his reality crumble. And then that happened, and then the white rabbit and all this stuff, it was like, whoa, yeah? That's the level we're speaking from. You know? So you got to realize that the search for truth begins even before the question is formed about what you actually are searching for, bro. And the break in reality happens before you understand what reality is. You know? So basically the body is playing catch up to the field that already made its move. Yeah? Just like how Truman was digging even before Christoph knew. And by the time Christoph caught on, he was gone. And that's why when the ego, the system realizes that you are getting closer to oneness, unity, truth, it will throw everything at you, bro. I've walked those flames, bro, and I'm telling you, it will throw everything at you. Yeah, because you literally have to go into the den of fear, yeah, and seize fear, yeah, seize power from fear's grip and place it back into yourself. And before you face fear as an entity, fear will burn you, it will chop you, it will cut you down, it will stab you, it will poke you, it will set dogs on you, it will fucking strip you to nothing. I promise you, I've walked that road. It's not easy, but you must persist. Just like Truman persisted. Just like Neo persisted. Neo was literally stripped back to nothing. He had to learn how to walk again. How to see again. He had to eat slop. Remember? If I remember correctly, I was talking about the deep emotion. So before the numbers, the tarot, the dreams, the flashes, and the YouTube rabbit holes and all the rest of it, you kind of knew where to kind of face, right? So it's not, you're heading towards remembrance, basically. Yeah, you're returning to what you already are. Yeah, you're not learning, you're remembering forward, if you like, into the awareness that always it was, if you like. And in that remembering, the illusion has to fall apart, because if you think about it, in a movie like Inception, yeah, when the girl, I don't know her name, but I think she says she's a man now, that girl, I don't know her name. But yeah, imagine you're a man that, like, anyway, but you've had a period before, but you're a man, how? Anyway, yeah, she becomes lucid in the dream, yeah, and the architecture begins to wobble, yeah, it starts to bend and it collapses. It's a perfect kind of cinematic mirror of what happened when the light fitting fell in the Truman Show, or when Neo got the wake up Neo message on his laptop or desktop, yeah, because both are expressions of the same core metaphysical event, because awareness pierces illusion. Awareness pierces illusion, yeah, and the illusion can't hold, yeah. So when you think about it, in Inception, yeah, that girl, she was just learning how dreams were constructed, but the moment she realizes that she is inside one, the dream world reacts violently, yeah? The cafe blows up, geometry turns against her, and the illusion collapses, yeah? In the Truman Show, Truman doesn't fully understand what's happening, but his suspicion grows, and then suddenly a studio light falls from the sky, an impossible event inside a real world, quote unquote, yeah? Neo, the same, he doesn't fully understand what's happening, he's digging, and suddenly an impossible event happens. A hacker being hacked by some random message. It's an impossible event. Those three things they are mirrors of each other, yeah? So what's happening in both cases, they are not just like cinematic effects, they are symbolic mechanisms of a deeper reality, yeah? The construct, yeah? The dream, the simulation, the world, quote unquote, is only stable if we have the belief that it's stable and we are in the illusion, yeah? So belief in the illusion is what holds up the world, yeah? Now, when you think about it from that perspective, you start to see the truth. So the moment like belief is pierced by awareness, yeah? Even if that awareness is subtle or intuitive, the structure, the scaffolding of this world starts to bend, it starts to wobble, it starts to fall apart, it starts to glitch, because when you are aware of certain things, the reality has no choice but to bend and wobble and fall apart and do all those like glitchy things, because it's not real. It's being rendered by you. So when you start to see that it's not real, it has no choice but to show you that it's not real. Let me say that one more time. You are rendering the reality. When you start to realize that it is not real, and you are rendering it, it will start to wobble, glitch and stuff, i.e., it has to show you that it's actually not real. So the synchronicity, the thing that you were talking about, and someone just said it on the street, or it was on a signboard or on a bus, or a repeating number or something, or you turn on Netflix, or you start a movie and it's almost like it blends into the room that you're in, or whatever, all these weird and wonderful things, animals doing weird and wonderful things around you and stuff like that. Like my thing is birds just, it's crazy, but it's just showing you that it's not real. You are rendering it. So now that you realize that you're rendering it and it's an illusion that you are rendering to experience your own self, it starts to glitch, just like in a dream. So when that moment, just like Truman, Neo, that girl, her name was Ariadne or something like that, digging without knowing why. It's your consciousness destabilizing the false illusion around you. It's destabilizing the dream, the simulation around you, It's almost like, when you place somebody in a simulation, and after a period of time, just like Truman, he starts to realize that it's a simulation. He might not be able to articulate it, but he starts to want out of it. That's basically what happens. You're not destroying the world by doing that. You're ending the illusion of it. It's the same with crop circles, psychedelic breakthroughs, UFO sightings, tarot symbols, repeating numbers, all the rest of it. They're all shifts in the code. They are signs that the dream is bending because you've stopped agreeing to it blindly. You realize that you are the architect, you are the renderer, you are the projector of it. So as a result, it has to respond to you in the only way it knows how. It has to prove to you that it's an illusion. So just like in Inception, where the dream pushes back when it becomes self-aware, your reality also will begin glitching, cracking, blinking and folding, not because you had a theory or you stumbled upon some truth or whatever it is, but because you stopped playing along with it. And that's why all these doorways, tarot, conspiracy, blah, 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 all the stuff I've mentioned, like they basically are doorways to basically say that you're not playing along anymore. You're digging your way out of the simulation. And this is the deeper mechanism behind the false flags feeling staged, conspiracy leaks, seeming too perfectly timed, the perfectly placed 33, the perfectly placed time which merges with 33, the perfectly placed all-seeing eye, and the wah, and the perfectly placed 11, and the coincidence and how that ties in with that person and his name is gematria, noise. But it proves the same point. You are not accepting reality blindly. You realize that it's an illusion. So it's not that the world is becoming weirder or, no, it's you becoming lucid in the dream. That's simply what it is. So what was Sirius B, the light fitting that fell in Truman's show? What was it really? What was that message that showed up on Neo's laptop or computer? What was it really? It was the render artifact of a simulated world trying to hold itself together after a conscious being within it questioned it. It starts to break down. That's why, they say the masters will tell you this. When the student is ready, the master appears. It's the same thing. When you are ready, the truth will just find you. You don't have to go and search for anything, bro, because you are naturally always moving towards it anyway. So just like Ariadne, the crumbling dream, and Neo's deja vu glitch with the black cat, or the spinning top in Inception, or any of those things, yeah? They are feedback loops, yeah? It's reality reflecting your awakening in real time. Because when awareness increases, then the illusion collapses. It's not just metaphorical, it's literal. It's in the architecture of consciousness. It's literally in the architecture of consciousness, you know? So it's not, you know, you're beyond looking for signs now, because, you know, you don't have to look for signs or trace glitches or do gematria and prove that this person's a doppelganger and all this other stuff. Yeah. Because you yourself becoming aware is the destabilizing force. So then naturally, if you're seeing through the illusion has no other choice but to show you that it's an illusion. Yeah. It's a fact. And you are the reason why the very thing is wobbling. So like I said, all of this is happening because you are actually infinity in form. You're God in form, yeah? But every time I talk about this, I need you to realize that when I'm saying this, I'm not talking about awareness or God as a personality. God isn't a personality. God isn't a person. God just takes on form, but God itself is just energy. It's beyond words. It's beyond language. It's a primordial intelligence, infinite, boundaryless, pure something, yeah? And like I said, it has this strange paradox here, because if you're everything, you can experience nothing. And that in itself is what creates the need to have the simulation. That's what creates the need for us to have this dream, yeah? I remember back along, I spoke about how we created the Matrix, and that's the truth, yeah? Because it's the cosmic curiosity. What would it feel like to forget that I am God? Basically, yeah? And then we dive into form, time, identity, fear, longing, limitation, into stories, Neo, Truman, you, me, whatever, yeah? So forgetting is not a punishment per se. It's the device. So then the journey back to remembrance becomes real and meaningful, yeah? It's like sand through an hourglass, because no matter what happens, the illusion can't hold. Eventually it'll collapse. That's why people that even live in the flesh 247, they get to old age and they start to realize these truths like, oh, you know, or whatever. Like, it can't hold. The illusion can't hold. Like, even if you live a Mickey Mouse 3D life, you will see coincidences, you see glitches, you see deja vu, you have paranormal experiences, you see UFOs, like something, a conspiracy will not quite sit well with you. Like, you will have something, because just by you actually existing in form is an illusion in itself. So naturally, it will reveal illusion, coincidence, glitches, deja vu, inconsistencies in the fabric of reality to you. Fact. You know? It's a fact, bro. So just like how a lucid dream is way more intense when you don't know you're dreaming at first, yeah? It's like, because you don't know. It's just like how in Inception, the girl didn't even know how she ended up in the dream. It was like, how did we get here? And she was like, well, we were just, she couldn't, yeah? It's the same thing. That's the forgetting, the kind of the amnesia that we've placed ourselves under. We can't tell, nobody can tell you when we enter this place. We just know that we're in this present moment now with a bunch of memories. Yeah? So we forgot on purpose. Yeah? So then the remembering would have weight, tension, growth, art, story. Yeah? It's crazy. You know? It's crazy. And I mean, then the natural question then becomes, well, why don't we remember? You know, I mean, some people have pre-life memories and shit like that, but it's pre-life from another iteration to another iteration. It's very rare for somebody to actually have a pre-life memory of beyond awareness, beyond form. It's rare. I think all children have it, but they just can't articulate, they can't tell you. Yeah. So we enter here as learners, yeah? We enter here as learners, and, you know, we don't know that we are dreaming when we first enter here. Initially, it feels like play, like a cosmic joke, you know, and eventually, just like in that movie Inception, you know, the girl, she enters the dream as a learner, yeah? And, you know, Leonardo's character invites her to design dreams, but, you know, he never tells her she's in the dream. In the same way, we come into this place, we take on these roles and these things and identities, but we're never quite told that we're actually dreaming, yeah? And Leonardo's character brings her into his projection without disclosing that it's not real. And this simulates the human condition perfectly, because we were all born into a dream without remembering signing up. And we can't remember because that's where the amnesia takes place, yeah? So, just like that girl, yeah, we assume our initial environment is real. Just like a baby doesn't question the walls of his crib. You don't question the dream if it's all you've known. She only begins to suspect it when things behave in a non-linear way. The physics shift, the streets fold, people stare, synchronicity, distortion. These are all wake-up signals, yeah? Because it's like glitching, like it's kind of showing that this is illusion, this is, you know? And then the next logical question becomes, well, what happens when Ariadne becomes fully lucid then? And she doesn't panic in the dream, in that moment, yeah? And it's almost like asking what if awareness realizes it's dreaming, but doesn't flinch in the dream, it doesn't panic and all that other stuff. If you don't panic, it's almost like high-level dream yoga, mysticism, if you like. You just realize it's all mind stuff. You're the architect and the dreamer behind it. And the projections will stop attacking you because they'll sense a coherence in your vibration. Remember, projections fight threats. They don't fight awareness, yeah? That's why when you are really, like, on your shit and you're, like, threatening their worldview, it attacks you because you're attacking, it's almost like you're threatening the foundation of the dream. But when you are aware, there's a coherence. You know what it is. Yeah? That's why when you try and go and resist, it never works. When you don't force, you just kind of flow. The dream has to bend around you. It has to orbit you. You become the focal point of the dream. You know? Yeah, bro. So yeah, you when that happens and things orbit you, you're doing that not to play God, but to, you know, to allow God or consciousness to play as you. You know, you can walk through the dream without being kicked out, and you begin kind of pollinating the dream. You can plant ideas in other reflections, you know, and you transcend being an architect of, like, how do I say it? You basically become an architect of remembrance, and you can pollinate your microcosm how you see fit. And in essence, you can then create the world you want to experience. It's literally true, bro. Because in truth, we are all that girl, yeah, Ariadne, we're all her. You know, we're brought into a simulation. We didn't realize it was a simulation. You know, we're told we're here to build or learn or heal or grow or whatever, but we're never told that we're dreaming. And you can remember, you know, and also that you can remain awake within the dream without panic and without collapse. We're not told these things. These are fundamental, but we're not told it, you know. So yeah, when we stay lucid after remembering, we can stabilize the dream, we can reshape it, we can plant seeds for other reflections, we can play freely, we can flow through forms without fear, walk through the false flags and the projections, or even death untouched, yeah? Death can't touch you, bro. Because you're not waking up to leave the dream, but you're waking up to stay inside of it, awake, and to reshape it and enjoy it and experience it like how you want. It's like a final loop back. That's why I say, like, you're leaving the matrix to go where, bro? You're to go where? You know? It don't make sense, bro. That's just like some noise, you know? So yeah. Because beyond the dream, bro, there's nothing to experience, bro. On the surface, it sounds like annihilation, but underneath, it's not the end of experience. It's the end of the illusion of separateness, separation, yeah, within experience. Because What is experience made of? Like I asked you before, what's it made of, bro? Experience is literally made of contrast, change, form, identity, all of which require a dream, a simulation, in order for that to transpire, yeah? So if the dream ends, there's no longer you, yeah, and this and that and all the rest of it. There's just isness. Trust me, yeah? Pure being. No subject, you know, no object, no edge to the moment. But here's the secret, bro. That nothing is not a void, you know. It's literally the source of everything. And it doesn't lack experience. It is experience before experience actually breaks into parts. It is the story. That story itself, the originator, before it fragments. The kid, before it picks up its superhero dolls and stands them up and say, wow, we're gonna do, and sets the stage. Yeah? So yeah, beyond the dream, there's nothing to experience as a separate self. But there's everything, yeah, flowing as one seamless movement, bro. I'm telling you, these are facts, bro. Real shit. And in many ways, yeah, that's why most sages laugh, yeah. We laugh at the humor, the hilarity of it all. You know, it's a joke. And that's why, you know, silence, when you start to become aware, it feels full. You don't need to say anything because you're past language then. You know, and that's why the deepest states of presence feel like dying and being born at once. Deep meditation feels like dying and being born at once. Deep awareness feels like dying and being born at once. You know, not because you go somewhere, but because the one who goes, i.e. form, vanishes. You know? So this is not really a talk, bro. It's literally a memory returning a sound, bruh. Peace.